Do you struggle in Rainbow Six Siege because you have this solo queue? Well, you're not alone. In fact, I would argue that the vast majority of people that play Rainbow Six are solo queue. So today, we are going to be talking about how to effectively solo queue, win more rank up, and how to eventually find a 5-stack while watching some gameplay of me solo queuing. So yeah, let's get to it. So why solo queue? Well, you don't want to wait for a team, find a stack. You just want to play the game, jump right into it. Well, of course, it's going to be a little bit harder if you go about this way. Yes, you'll get into a game faster, but you are given a lot of random people on your team that may or may not be the best players in the world at your current hidden MMR. So the way that the system works is the hidden MMR attached to your name, attached to your account, I should say, is going to be the average rank of your team versus the other team. So if you are let's say you are a gold with a hidden MMR of like let's say a champion, you're going to have potentially a full champion lobby even while you're solo at gold. But don't worry too much, because your hidden MMR will go up and down when you win and lose games. And honestly, you're not going to lose that much for the first couple losses anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much. When you're solo, plan on losing probably about 50% of your matches. I know that number sucks, but you can always just grind through it, and as long as you're winning 50% of your matches, more than likely you're going to rank up still. So because like you're going to keep going up, and as you beat champions, your hidden MMR is going to go up, and you're going to just keep on ranking up even while you're solo queue. It is possible to hit champion while solo queue in ranked 2.0. It is harder, obviously. It is easier to play in a stack, obviously, but it is possible. So let's talk about how to effectively solo queue to the best of your ability. So you want to win more while solo queue. Here is what you do. On attack rounds, so many people will tell me like they were going 11-2 and losing matches. I argue that most of the time these guys are baiting. So what that means is, what baiting means to me is you are effectively, as an attacker, holding an angle for way too long, not making an actual push to winning the objective or taking an engagement, and you're just trying to value your own life a little bit too much. So the thing about that is sometimes you will get kills doing that, but the bad thing is while you're doing that, your team is making aggressive moves, doing things, and a lot of times if you find yourself in a 1v3, you might have been baiting for a little bit too long. So I would argue that you need to be a little bit more proactive and be impactful. Being impactful means looking for an opening in the enemy's defense and flying through it, taking that engagement, taking that gunfight, and just pushing on through. So you can play any operator in solo queue, just have a reason for doing so. Like I'm picking Ayana because I want a grenade, I'm going to take an initial engagement early, or I'm picking Ace because I want to be able to shoot, but I do feel like I do need to get a wall. Just have a reason and be ready to fight. When you're a solo queue, expect to have to at least kill one person every round. And I know it sucks, it's not going to be nearly as fair as, let's say, if you stack, but solo queue, you are going to have to shoot. You cannot you have to be somewhat of a gunner to rank up in solo queue. But I do argue that I feel like everybody should solo queue, especially when they first start Siege, because it is going to help with your initial 1v1 ability, which even in a 5-stack, you do need that 1v1 ability to be able to win that first initial firefight when you get into it. Because otherwise, yeah, you get a call on where they're at, your guys are doing this push, but then you end up in a firefight, and if your 1v1 ability is too low, well, you still lose that firefight. So as a defender, while you're solo queue, always keep in mind who is on the site. Who is on the site? Where are the attackers in relation to the site? And do you have teammates that are actively holding back the attackers? Always check the site every now and then if you are running around or whatever, because if there's no one to stop the attackers, assume the attackers are actively walking in, because someone like me or someone like the people I play with, if we take one guy out on the site and we don't see anybody else, we're gonna walk inside, we're gonna plant, or we're going to push very far into the map through the site and catch a lot of people off guard as they rotate back, which is probably happens a lot to you guys when you're running around a little bit too much and someone dies on site, you rotate back and you realize the attackers are a lot more established in the site than you would like. So just keep an eye out for how the site is doing. I mean, if you need to use your mic and ask them. If no one responds, just go off the general positioning and where they're looking. And if if no one's there, then you know, like, okay, they're probably pushing from this armory side. They're pushing from over here, over there. You're going to realize this after a couple rounds, a couple games of this. Just make sure you keep an eye on the site. For operator pick, honestly, you can pick any operator you want on defense. Just have a reason for it. Either anti-rat, slow down enemies, like with like barbed wire, Malusi Banshees, or Legion goo mines. Like, you want anti-gadget, so the Wamai, the Rooney, the Jaeger. You want wall denial, you want the bandit, the Cade, the mute, or you just want to pick a gun and try to frag out, which is more than fine, but just be aware, don't just pick a fragger over and over if you aren't getting frags, because you're probably going to lose that way. If you pick a fragger and it doesn't work the first round, maybe pick a more team-based op the next round. And on attack or defense, play off of what your teammates are doing in terms of their operator lineup. If you're attacking and you see that you have an IQ, a 0, a Nomad, and then Ash, you know that you probably have to bring like an Ace or something. Or you see that your team has, let's say, a Thermite, an Ace, a Hibana, and a 0. You need to pick something more entry focused like Ayana. You have to match your team and pick what's missing. And you're going to learn what's missing after just watching lineups of other teams, and you're going to know what you need. So like every time you pick an op, this is what I tell everybody that I coach on Fiverr, is every time you pick an operator, have a general plan of what you plan on doing throughout the round. Don't just spawn in and kind of wander around looking for where to go. Have a plan. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to find a stack in the best way. So you can use Discords, either my Discord, the R6 Discord, and there's a lot of different options. Six Shot Academy, there's a lot of different options to find an initial stack. But these stacks are always going to be a lot more underwhelming than the people that you're going to find in ranks. How do I find better teammates, you may ask? Well, start throwing friend requests to people in ranks, whether if they're playing good on your team or on the other team. Don't be afraid to throw them a friend request, because the vast majority of people that play Rainbow Six do not have a stack. They want to find people to play with. They want to have a 5 stack. So start throwing friend requests in your matches. This is how I first started when I came over to PC. I played for like a season, or I think I played for 2 seasons, like solo queue or duo queue. And I threw friend requests to everyone. I had like 1,000 people on my friends list. Granted, it is called a friend list, but they don't have to actually be your friend. It's just people that you want to potentially play with. But like 1,000 people on my friends list, and then I started getting invites left and right to jump into ranks, and I was in a ton of different squads, and I never had to solo queue again. Start doing that, and you will see the same results. Start throwing friend requests, especially on games that you're playing well. Throw a friend request to everybody in the lobby, even the people that are having bad games. Like, if you want people to play with, you gotta start adding people. You have to be proactive. You can try Discords, but I have never had good success with Discords, like the R6 Discord, so I definitely don't recommend that. I think just playing a season of Rainbow Six for an entire 3 months, playing a season off and on, and just adding people in your matches if you're solo. Just play a couple games solo, add a couple people, and eventually when you get on, people are going to start throwing you invites to matches. It'll happen more than you think. I mean, even if it doesn't, you can start inviting them, so at least you're going to have a duo, trio, etc., and you can build upon that. Alright guys, that is going to be it today on how to win more while solo queue. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to be really interactive in this comment section, especially for this video. So feel free to ask me questions on how to, whatever you need. I feel like I answered a lot of that in the video, but whatever you guys need, ask a question and I'll make sure to respond pretty fast. So, and as always, make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, and leave a like down below for more. Solo queue is hard. Don't focus on your rank too much. Focus on the wins and the round wins, and focus on your general improvement, because if you improve, you will win more. Focus on improving, and you will see a change in the results of how often and how easy it is to rank up. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace out.